spend, but we ain't wasting it. That's the message coming from Ineos. There are players apparently at this football club earmarked for success and players to build a squad around. A new squad under a new era under Ineos. We're going to go through them 4 players. You can probably guess who some of them are already, but the 4th one got me off guard. So we'll talk about that, get your opinions on that as well. We've got updates on Ashworth, what Eddie Howe has been saying regarding the situation as well. All transfer speculation and loanee player update coming up on this show today, guys. Get involved. If you're watching the video after it has dropped after the live stream, make sure you get your comments in on all the subjects also as well. But get your comments coming in now, guys. If you are live with us in the chat, obviously make sure you please give the video a like and subscribe if you are tuning in for the first time to FUTV. I'm Adam. Welcome along, everybody. Let's get into what is actually going on right now. I can see a few people already joining in the chat. Welcome along, everybody. So, Ineos' plan compared to what Ten Hag is wanting out of this. So we know they are different because Ineos will not waste money. They are a not so much cutting corners, but balancing books, minor gains, all of this conversation in terms of building United and the infrastructure and the business around it. When it comes to players, though, Ineos are looking at this and going, look, this is a big part of bringing Manchester United back to the top again. But the reason we're bringing in this recruitment setup and this whole new structure is because we're not going to waste money. We're not going to go Ten Hag player style. So, again, it's like when the story came out about Matthias de Ligt, for example. This isn't the way it's going to go. These are not going to be all Ten Hag signings. You can tell nearly all of the players that have come into Manchester United have had that link with Ten Hag. That gone. That's not going to happen anymore under this new structure, under Ineos and everything that's happening at Manchester United now. So Jim Radcliffe's ambition for Manchester United is massive. It's huge. We know what his plans are. We've heard all of the rumours and speculation. We will be hearing from the man soon enough as well, just to go over everything that he has been talking about and now wants to make clear with everyone else, especially the fans, the vision of Manchester United's new, well, let's call it new era, because that's what it is. It's turning of the page, and Sir Jim Radcliffe is really pumping up some cash. He has got ambitions, and Ten Hag, we know that he is going to be the manager, I feel. It takes something drastic now, but he's not going to get what he wanted. He's not going to get that bonanza budget. We've talked about how much we can spend. We're not going to spend. Just because it's there, it doesn't mean we're going to spend it. We can spend upwards of 300, 400 million. That's true in the way that the financials are right now with financial fair play and everything like that. But the ambition of Sir Jim Radcliffe against the plan or the vision of Ten Hag are completely different. And this is the crossroads as where it's going to go. So in terms of Ineos, the audit, everything that they've looked into, it's not just off the field and the way the club is run that they're looking at. Obviously, they're looking at performances on the pitch. So David Brailsford is pretty much a main figure at every single Manchester United game, home and away now. He is looking in detail and in depth at Manchester United from top to bottom, the playing staff side of it. And what we're talking about today is there are 4 players at the football club right now playing that Ineos feel like they can build their team around. This was a report done yesterday, I think, or someone actually talking about it and writing it out. I kind of agree with the players that they're talking about anyway, but I want to get your information. I want to get your input onto this in terms of who you think can actually work at Manchester United. Who can we build a future around? The 4 players, Kobbie Mainoo, obviously youngest player out of the lot, a future, and can go on to different levels. We know he has got potential coming out of everything about Kobbie Mainoo. I couldn't even think of the right way to describe him there, but his talent is there. For everyone to see, and the potential is limitless. It really is with Kobbie. So he was a definite one. Alejandro Garnacho, that was another player. Obviously, again, another one that's tied into a 5-year contract, just turning 19. Absolutely unbelievable performances last season, carried it onto this season, and does look like the future of Manchester United. And then you've got Rasmus Højlund, the latest sign, who has just started to really shine for the football club and started to really show value for money in that £60 million investment in him. So them 3 players, I thought, yep, I can totally see that. They are the youth, 18, 19, 21, we have got a decade of football with them players, and we can really build a squad around them. The fourth one was where I was like, okay, I didn't see that coming. But the fourth one apparently was Diogo Dalot. Now, Diogo has improved over the last few weeks, and I think has got back to where he was last season, where I thought he was the most improved player under Ten Hag. I did. I thought he took to the instruction, and I thought he was a player that was willing to go that extra yard. You've heard about Ronaldo talking about Dalot and how he says he just constantly trains, and he's got the right mentality and the right attitude to become absolutely great. His life off the pitch is exemplary. He's never in any sort of issue or problems or trouble. He is just a model pro. And at his age and where he's at right now in his career, just signed his new deal as well. That is another player that Ineos are looking at and going, he is the right type of player. Them four, yes, I'm okay. I'm just, you know what? The Dalot one still thingies me. He has moments in games where I'm thinking, where's your head at, son? What are you thinking? That's the Dalot that just sort of like goes to me every now and then, like, whoa, slow down, son. Slow down. Let's get back in our lane a little bit. But he has got quality. We've seen that. Defensively, he's got a little bit better. But there were moments early on this season where he was being bullied. There is still a lot of work to do with Dalot for me. And I cannot believe we didn't have a Martinez in that group of players that Ineos wanted to build. I think Martinez would be the first name on the team sheet for me in terms of players you can look forward to being in your team and plan around. He's our leader, our future captain. I think our captain, when Bruno Fernandes does leave United or retires, I think it will be Martinez. There may even be a call for Martinez to take the captaincy while Bruno is still at the club. If Bruno is fizzling out, say when he gets into his 30s, which is coming in the next few years, then there may be a shout for Martinez, who is going to be playing more. I don't know why Martinez wasn't even mentioned in this article, or why Martinez wasn't. He needs to be. I said that's 5. That's half a team there that you could argue United have already got in place. So what does that leave you? That leaves you 6 positions, which we all know need rectifying. But one of the biggest position issues we've got right now is probably at fullbacks, and we are actually looking at Frimpong at right back, so that kind of takes Dalot out of it. Is there any thought here in this, in moving Dalot across to left back as the versatile defender and having a new right back come in? You see where I'm going with this? We've got young players coming through, Amas coming through the ranks at left back as well. So there is cover on both sides. Could Dalot be the versatile defender? Could he be the John O'Shea, Phil Neville? Play left, play right. Have we found our new versatile player in Dalot? I think because of his performances on the left, which he has been outstanding in, by the way, I won't forget that performance at the Emirates at left back when he absolutely annihilated Saka. I thought he had an out of this world performance against Saka. I thought he handled him really well. So I feel like that versatility and that eagerness and that will to get better and better, I think that's why Dalot is in this squad. That's why Dalot is going to be a player that's going to be at Manchester United for a few more years to come. I mean, the best thing Dalot did was that loan at AC Milan. I think he learnt a lot from there. He's come back, he's knuckled down, he's improved, and he's seen the opportunity under Ten Hag to go, I want to be your number one. And he pretty much claimed it last season. But for Wan-Bissaka having the same sort of mentality towards the back end of the season and coming in and saying, that's my spot, I'm battling him, and probably just about outshining Dalot at right back in the end. But again, it was up for grabs this season, and it now looks like we are in a position where Dalot is probably ahead of Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka's going in the summer. He'll probably end up being in the trade for Elise. We know he's definitely wanting to be sold by the football club. So I feel like Wan-Bissaka out. Dalot's definitely there. But I honestly feel like Manchester United, and the reason Dalot is on this list is because he's good on left and he's good on the right. And that's why he's there. We know Mainu, we know Garnacho, and we know Højlund. They're the players that you look at and go, yes, I can see why. Martinez added to that 5, half a team. It's not bad for a first team squad. Now, obviously, you've got other quality on their day, outstanding, Casemiro, Varane, Luke Shaw, but I don't see the future with them. These players that we're mentioning now are all of an age where early 20s / teenagers, for God's sake, that have got many years ahead of them. But I want to know your thoughts on Dalot, guys. I'm going to come to the chat now quickly, first of all, because I didn't expect Dalot to be on this list. I didn't. I know he's on. I think he's just on the cusp of being there, but the versatility factor for him, I think, is what gets him. I think that's what gets him into the thought process of someone who is going to be a long-term servant for the football club. Let's get into the chat and see where you're at with Dalot. Some may agree, some may not. I'm just going to scroll up and stop it there. Liam Whitehouse, how are you, Liam? Hope you're doing good. Fantastic news. Mbappe to Madrid. PSG want Rashford. Let's take them to the cleaners. I think I'm going to do a separate video on Rashford and that one. I don't want to talk about that, but I can talk about it. But yeah, there's no real reason to. I think it may hot up, and everyone already knows my opinions on Rashford. I don't want to ram it down everyone's throats. Let me see what else we've got. Snick Post says, make Casemiro captain without a shadow of a doubt. It's the longevity, innit? That's the problem. I understand, yes, Martinez, without these injuries, would be surefire captain for me. He is captain material. Andrew Short says, Højlund, Garnacho, Mainu, Dalot. Yeah, I don't know if you were guessing that and actually came up with that before I actually said who it was. I would have Licher on the list, definitely. Definitely. I agree on Dalot. He's come in so much. He's come on so much, but still got a mistake or switches off, says Kaz. Agreed. I think we need Licher in the spine of our team. We 100% do. Man United must do swap deal with Crystal Palace for Wan-Bissaka for Elise. We will sell Rashford for 100 million. I don't think anyone's going to pay 100 million for Rashford, by the way, guys. I don't know where everyone's getting this price from for him. I really don't. Dalot's biggest asset is his availability and versatility. Poet in him there, Stephanie. Diehard United fan, my mind is blown. Mbappe to Arsenal is trending hard. I hope it ain't true. They would blow their complete wage budget and structure over bringing Mbappe into that club. Let them have him. Let them have him. Let them take themselves under. I'm telling you now, Mbappe is... You can deal with Mbappe. You can deal with him. Honestly, I think he is markable, and I think you can defend against him. If I was coming up against a forward right now, that if I had to choose which one I didn't want to come up against, I would still probably have Kane and Haaland ahead of Mbappe. And some people may think that's crazy. I know he's having a great season, but he's having a great season in France. There's a difference. He's never played at the highest level. I know he's won like the World Cup and everything like that, but the highest level at club level is the Premier League, and it doesn't matter. Yes, I think he may fit the mould with Arsenal. I don't think they're going to buy him simply because I don't think they're going to be able to afford his wages. I don't. They're on the cusp of financial fair play right now, Arsenal, and yeah, it may be a free transfer, but there's no way that Mbappe is going to Arsenal. I'm going to say that now. Not a chance in hell. Martinez doesn't stay fit. That's the problem, says Dwayne. Andrew Sharp. Blimey, I forgot Dalot as well. Adam, great player. Hope he stays clear of injury. That's my worry. Dalot's pretty decent injury record. Hopefully we win the league within 2 years from now, says Diehard United fan. Everyone hopes that. I think maybe 3 to 4 years, that's where we're going to be at. We'll miss these streams next week. Back to work. No, you won't. You'll have them on in work on your phone. It's only me. Definitely. Dalot is originally a right winger, Adam. Yeah, it's debatable, mate, that. It is debatable. I know where you're coming from, Mike. He's played there, but honestly, he was brought in as the fullback. He's never played on the wing for any significant period of time. He's got the qualities going forward, but he's definitely a right back. 100% right back. What else are we saying here? Hopefully Dalot not playing well for a new contract and goes okay. Boyle then. Well, he's already got his contract, Alan, and he's playing well now, so that's a good sign. Pretty much like Garnacho. I think this is where they look at it as well, Ineos. You look at players that have just got new contracts. So Højlund's just come in, new deal, big club, started to turn the page and really show form. Garnacho's just signed this big deal. This was the worrying one, wasn't it, Garnacho? It was like, whoa, big new deal, 5-year deal at United, signed as a teenager. All faith putting in by Ten Hag, and he's performing. That is why he is number one on the list. Now, Mainu on 10 grand a week for 5 years, signed his first professional contract, really. We're not really worried about that too much. I think there will be a hike in wages for him at some point over the next couple of seasons, maybe even this year. I don't agree in it yet. I don't think he needs it yet. So, for me, I just think they're looking at players that have just come through or just signed deals like Dalot, Højlund, Garnacho, Mainu. All 4 of them are in that category. I think that might be where they're looking at in terms of this and planning forward. It's like, sign a deal, looking to still improve even more. And there is potential to go even more. So that, I think, is where the approach is at from Ineos. And I think that's the positive in all of this. And why I can see these players being the ones that they're earmarking as the future of Manchester United. You can totally see it. I would say Martinez, but for injuries, falls right in there. I think the only reason he's not being mentioned is because of them bad injuries that he's getting. So I would still have him there. I'm going to be honest. There's no reason why he won't be there. He's still got a big contract to play, and I think he's going to get better and better, and he will be the leader of this football team. I'm convinced of it. Over 100 likes in the bag. Cheers, guys. Keep liking the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well. In the bottom right hand corner there, you can see our SofaScore, our sponsors and partners of the channel. Make sure you scan that QR code or drop in the description below. The link is there right at the top, guys. Click on that. Download the app. It's free. It's the best sports and football app out there, guys. Fast and informative on all fronts of sports, especially football, EFL and Premier League and your team. Injury news, score updates, player profiles, player stats, everything that's going on at your football club, straight to your phone instantly. Get on it. It's free. It helps the channel, and we love it. Thanks, guys. Mark, MUFC fan. So, Jim, plan is to make United homegrown FC. Does that make sense for a club with the largest international fan base? I kind of understand where you're going with it a little bit. I don't think we need to look at it that way. I think the core is homegrown players. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean they're English. Garnacho is classed as a homegrown player. Mainu, you're looking at him, yeah, English, but Højlund and Dalot, the players that we just spoke about there's only one full English player there. Then you got Martinez. So out of that half a team that we just said we are definitely going to see a future with at United, and they're going to be mainstays, only one of them is English. So I look at that and I go, nah, I'm not having that at all. I don't think he's going to go down the English route. I don't think it's going to be English FC or British FC or anything like that. I know he said like he'd like a core of players. I mean, the core of players doesn't necessarily mean they have to be first-team players. I mean, keeping Scott McTominay around as a squad player, that for me is homegrown. That for me is important, as well as the class players that are in the first team. There are lots of ways to look at that homegrown sort of player and the benefits of it. I just don't think it's all right. Oh, because you're English, you got to play. I don't think that's the case with it at all. I really don't. But hey, we'll see how it goes. But we definitely will not be limiting ourselves to homegrown play. I mean, sometimes I feel like the better players are English. You look at the look at football right now. Who has got the best youth system? Who has got the best players right now? The best pool of young talent coming through, as well as first-team regulars right now. Who has got it? It's England. You cannot disguise that. But for having a crap, pragmatic manager in Southgate, England should have 2 trophies right now. Already, we should have a Euros and a World Cup with this pool of players. It's even better now. So when it comes down to homegrown, you look at the players. I mean, even Musiala at Germany, he could have been an England player, but he chose Germany as his nationality. Do you know what I mean? Homegrown, still. There is a fine line between it, but you know what? Sometimes the English players are the best. I mean, some of the central midfielders at the moment, England's central midfield, oh my God, like seriously, it is off. He's just outstanding. It oozes class all over. When you've got Bellingham, you've got Foden, you've got Declan Rice, you've got players like that, and then the forward line in front of that, my God, Saka, Grealish, Kane. I mean, what you got? Bowen coming through. You can bring Rashford in if you want. I'm not really bothered. You've got Ivan Toney, who wants to get in. There is an abundance of talent in England and in the British Isles right now. And you know what? Sometimes you just got to own up. You got to admit it and say, look, yeah, it may be looking like we're being a bit biased, but where are the best players? Quite simply, England. Best player in Spain right now, Bellingham. Best player in Germany, you could argue Kane, although Bayern have gone off the boil a little bit. It's debatable. Best player in the British Isles right now in the Premier League, I mean, that's where it differs a little bit. I mean, you could probably say one of City's players, one of Liverpool's players, one of Arsenal's. You could say Saka's up there. You could say Foden's up there still in these teams. There are plenty of English talent in the top teams in England, and I think having that right core of players works. It does. I'm constantly checking through news for you guys as well. What have we got in update-wise? Dan Ashworth has an informal agreement with Manchester United and Ineos. He is now waiting for them to make an official approach and agree a compensation package with Newcastle. That's from Craig Hope. And that's pretty much what we knew. Just want to go in on Dan Ashworth now, as that's just been brought up. And Eddie Howe was talking in his press conference today. He knows of no definites or approaches from Manchester United for Dan Ashworth, but he said also in that same press conference that with all the noise going on right now, he does expect a formal offer or some approach from United to come through for Dan Ashworth. So yeah, I feel like it is just the inevitable, and like that says there again when he was asked there. And that's why I say he's in a position of power with a lot of intelligence and information. That's why it's a slightly unusual situation. Eddie Howe there talking about how Ashworth knows so much. Ashworth having access to Newcastle's secrets. Your concerns are relevant, says Eddie Howe. I don't know quite how much I can say on that, but I share your feelings. So he was asked about one of your rivals taking one of your top people as in United going for Ashworth, and then what he knows about Newcastle and the secrets of the club. It's a concern for Newcastle. This shows you exactly where the magnitude of this approach and deal and possible deal for Dan Ashworth is. It is scary for Newcastle fans. It was scary for City. Like, the inside info that both of these men know combined for both of them clubs, City and Newcastle, is immense, and it can come in handy for Manchester United. But yeah, that is where we're up to with Ashworth. The deal is in place with Ineos. He has accepted Manchester United's terms. Like you can see there on the latest tweet from Romano, which was pretty much yesterday. I think that summed everything up. That's at the bottom of your screen there in the tweet section. There is a lot in place already apart from the compensation. That's it. Will Ineos play hardball and say we want him sooner? Or will they just say, look, we'll accept the terms of the breaking contract, which is a set fee of compensation plus a period of gardening leave? Or we'll just say, right, let's shorten that gardening leave and give you a little bit more. Is there a compromise in between? There you go. So I think that's it's important that Manchester United and Ineos take a stance in this sort of situation going forward, because it's gonna also set the stall out for future deals going forward. It's like Ineos are coming in, they want to make United great again. Let's take them to the cleaners. Let's get as much money out of them as possible. And if Ineos don't go down the road of spending big on this, I think that also sends that message. It's an important one to the rest of world football. Like, we are going to make Man United great, but there's no one going to take us for a ride. We're not going to be had over in any deal anymore. Hard negotiators, but move very, very fast. The problem with United in the past is the Glazers, and it was very well known and wrote about quite a lot about how long it took a decision to come about. Joel Glazer especially being the issue in that department, taking an age. With Ineos in charge of all of the football aspects and sporting side of things, yes, Joel has to be kept in the loop like he was with Barada. But what you've got now is you've got someone telling him, like, move now, get this done quick. We're telling you now, we get this done quick, we're going to make so much. No one was telling Joe Glazer this before. No one was telling the people at all Manchester United before about making these sorts of deals and what benefited them. all that was happening, like we said in the video regarding the Nightmare Glazers that we did about a week ago, was people being moved away from roles in football to suit the Glazers and care for the Glazers and their side of things. Ineos are not going to stand for that. Ineos are going to be at Joe Glazer, constantly knocking on the door, saying, we need this sign up, we need this, we need this, we need this. They're not going to mess around. It's sharp, incisive, quick actions on all transactions. And that's the difference. This Glazers are not going anywhere yet. We have to accept that. But people saying the Glazers are here, nothing's going to change, it's a load of bollocks. It will change. It has to change. Because Ineos are not going to hang around. And that's why they negotiated in taking this 25%, their role in running the sporting operations at Manchester United. They're not stupid. They know that they have to work at their pace to earn their money back on their investment and making United great. They can't wait around and let the club be run the way it was under the Glazers. It's impossible. And Ten Hag has also got to fall in line with that, pretty much bringing back up the top story on this video, which was Ten Hag's vision against the ambition of Sir Jim Ratcliffe. It is all about them two, probably, more than any other. Ten Hag working in line with the new structure, because Ineos have already negotiated with the Glazers and got what they needed out of that. Now it's down to them to deal with the people that are already in situ. And Ten Hag being absolutely smack bang top of that list. There are apparently other roles at United that Ineos are looking. An interesting one which I've seen, which I wanted to bring up, was, and this dual ownership thing again. Manchester United are also looking at another role for an executive who would work between United and Ineos, French League One side Nice, on recruitment and squad planning, sister clubs, and using that to your advantage, because you can do now. The Premier League clubs all voted in favour. Well, there wasn't enough majority to say that you cannot loan and buy players and use your other club under your ownership model, i.e. Nice and Manchester United. You cannot use Nice to benefit United. That was voted out by all the Premier League clubs. Well, less than what was needed for a majority, I should say. So they can take advantage of what's happening at Nice. We can loan players in from Nice. We can loan players from United to Nice. Can we build a structure there, someone who is challenging in Ligue 1 at a decent level, and send our loanees there now? Can we bring players like Todibo on a makeshift deal? It's ready-made, isn't it? Let's be honest. There should be no reason why United not bringing Todibo in. We could even loan Todibo from Nice and send someone back the other way, maybe a youth player to develop this and that role. And that's why I looked at that and thought, you know what? That is a very intriguing one. And I feel it's a really important one. So will Ashworth be in charge of that? Barada dealing with that? It's sounding like the team that they're building is a team with a link also to Nice, and what Manchester United want to take from that and take advantage of that. I think that is massive. That is a big plus point for Manchester United, that Nice are actually doing what they are doing right now and are producing players of quality as well, like Todibo. And we can tap into that. This is part of the master plan, I feel, as well. So that role, an executive role there, I feel that is just as important, really. Really is just as important. Over 400 in the room with us now, over 150 likes. We have a super sticker in from DJ John. Thank you very much, my friend. I'm just going to come to your comments quickly now on this. Dobby says, I'm not concerned with Erik Ten Hag not being on board. He did wonders at Ajax with a shoestring budget. Different standard. Dobby, don't forget that. The Eredivisie, let's be honest, is pretty crap. No disrespect. It really is. And he had a great structure above him, and they had millions in the bank, mate. So let's not kid ourselves in terms of shoestring budget at Ajax. A different level is the playing field here in the Premier League. Mike says, Sir Jim isn't getting best in class not to become majority owner in 18 months to 2 years. This 300 million will take it to 29% stake, and the 300 million is just to start off the money being spent. Well said, mate. I agree on that one. I think that is where we're at. Hope Rasmus gets a goal at weekend. It will be great to see him continue his form and going for his record. I think it will be an open game with quite a few goals in it. What are your views, Adam? Well, we're going to be talking about the game later on because me and Andy Tate are back live on location tonight, guys, at 6:30. We're going to have a couple of drinks. And we're going to be talking ahead of the weekend and everything that's happened this week. So do join us. Something different for your Friday night. We're mixing it up a bit, guys. So, yeah, me and Andy are live, taking in your comments and talking to you guys later on this evening for the 6:30 show. So, yeah, do make sure that you schedule that one in it. Your notification buttons. The bell notification is important. You get all of the notifications up on your phone for when ever the videos are coming. But it's at 6:30 tonight, guys. Me and Andy out and about, live, talking to you guys, looking ahead to the weekend and everything else that we've been talking about this week. A good old chinwag, as they would say. We have a super chat in from Juan David. He says, I hope we are going to buy more players that are technically good and does the basics well and work hard around the pitch. Tired of dribblers, as in Anthony, I'm guessing there. Dobby's come back with what we said before. Adam, my point is Ten Hag performed great working under a proper football structure and they didn't overpay for players. They never really bought players, mate, did they? They never really bought many. It was all through the youth structure. Ten Hag can do it, but he wasn't up against City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle, Villa, Spurs. He wasn't up against juggernauts. He is now in a different ball game. He's in a different league altogether, and I think this is where, and like we said in last night's show, Dobby, I think it's important that he knows his role and he has to accept the help that's coming. You cannot run United on your own. You're not Sir Alex Ferguson. No one is Sir Alex Ferguson. And Sir Alex Ferguson got out of the game at the right time knowing that this was coming. He knew years and years in advance what was going to happen, and it wasn't for him. Times have changed. Sir Alex moved on. United have to move on. Ten Hag isn't Sir Alex Ferguson. No one coming in to United is Sir Alex Ferguson. They have to work with the structure. This is the way modern football is run. This is the way modern football is now. So it's definitely, I feel, massively important that he does accept his new role at the football club, because he's not going to get anywhere without it. He really isn't. Alien says, cars Adam and Andy pissed up in Salford Keys. Yeah, I'll have a couple of bevies tonight. Yes, I will. It's only right, isn't it? Jonathan says, the more goals Rasmus gets, the more he can demand the ball from the inverted wingers. I see how you put inverted wingers there, mate, and not just wingers. I like that one. Sapper713, do you think if Ashworth and Jewell arrive, they could lure Ferguson in the summer? These are targets and these are players that Manchester United will probably be looking at. No, I don't think necessarily just because they've worked at certain clubs that they automatically are going to bring them players in. Every club has its standards. Brighton had their standards and they would be looking to sell Ferguson on in time to a club that was better than them or was bigger than them for a big chunk of money. That was their manifest. That's what their blueprint was. The blueprint for Ashworth, and if Jewell does come, or if it's Wilcox as well, the blueprint for Manchester United will be totally different. This is a new challenge altogether. They won't be given targets like Brighton were, so they have to work in a different way. They now may be looking at that extra pot of players that they've never been able to work with at the levels they have. They're good at what they've been doing at the levels there, at Newcastle, Brighton, the FA, and everywhere else. Wilcox, you could say, at City's academy and then at Southampton now as a director of football. All of these people coming in are taking a step up. You could argue probably not Berardi in his role and what he's done at Barca and City and what he's won in that time. I think he's the only one that's taking on a new challenge and probably coming down to challenge himself more in terms of bringing United back again from where he was. He has made the top. I don't think Ashworth, I don't think Wilcox, I don't think Jewell, I don't think anyone of the so-called names that were being monitored, that were monitoring or trying to bring in, I don't think any of them could turn down this opportunity of coming to United. I don't think any of them have ever dealt with a club like Manchester United before. This is going to be a big challenge for them, and this may not work straight away. They need to bed into United and understand the magnitude of their jobs. It's not going to be all smooth sailing for this. It's all looking great right now. But the main thing that we've said, and I've said on loads of videos, is in all of this process, United have to be patient. The fans have to have patience. They do. Ineos are not just going to turn it around. The things that they're organising now, and the biggest thing that I'm taking from this was the point I made a minute ago, was that executive role to blend the squad planning between Nice and Manchester United for the future. That is massive. I think that is crucial to the development of this structure at Manchester United and this new team and Ineos. This is huge. I think this is their main push and their main area. I was wondering when something was going to be mentioned, and it's not a major headline, but watch out for it, because that's going to be massive. Because Manchester United are in a position right now where they could literally just go, do you know what? This may work for us now, and hear me out on this one. We're losing centre-backs this summer. We could bring Todibo in on loan. We're allowed to do that. We could just say, look, we're just bringing him in on loan to see if he can handle playing in the Premier League. But there's Willie Campbell-Waller on loan for a season as well. We could effectively sell Lindelof to Nice. There you go. That's it. These are the opportunities that you've got now. So I look at it and I go, it's a massive, massive plus for Manchester United to have that. And this is the biggest thing I'm taking away from all of the news. And I was waiting for this to come out. And I thought, when are we going to actually hear something regarding this? So let's just see what is happening. Just creeping up to the 200 like mark, guys. Thank you so much. Make sure you do hit the subscribe button. And make sure you do give the video a like, guys, especially if you haven't subscribed. You can get involved in the chat then as well while we're live, which Andrew Short has done. Alex Ferguson said in his book that the way he managed the club was a lot different when he started. Instead of controlling everything himself, he had to appoint people to run. Yeah, I mean, like I said before, Sir Alex Ferguson never took a training session hardly. He left it to his coaches, and that was the way he worked. He worked on the planning of the season, the planning of the mental side of the game with the players more than anything else, Alex Ferguson. And I think that's how he got the blend right. You just cannot run a club the way that Sir Alex did now. It's just impossible. There's too much, and there's too many characters and too many different sort of roles at football clubs and too many people with a certain amount of say. And I think that's what you've got to deal with now. That's what you've got to deal with. And I think it can't be done. I really don't. But yeah, in terms of them roles and people, Patrick Stewart, who is well renowned at Manchester United, has got good relationships with a lot of people in football. Patrick Stewart has made a good impression as interim chief executive at Manchester United and are considering giving him another role. His close relationship with Sir Alex Ferguson and his contacts at UEFA speak high in his favour. So that's come from Matt Hughes. And again, I feel like that there is a role. Someone like that, someone Patrick Stewart, who, I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of what Patrick was doing or what his major role was at United, if he had any influence over the carnage that was Manchester United over the last decade. I just don't know for certain, but he's highly renowned at the club, held within high regard, and he's probably a man that's probably worth keeping around. Murto, no. See you later. People like that, out you go. Plain and simple. Don't need you. Patrick Stewart, on the other hand, maybe he could be useful for Manchester United. I'm not going to act like I know too much about what he does and where he's at right now. I know he's the interim CEO until Berardi takes control of that after his gardening leave. But like I said, he has been at the club for a very long time. And if there was anyone that the club would be looking to try and keep hold of, it looks like it will be him, according to reports. So let's see what he brings. I wouldn't necessarily say that role we're talking about between managing squad planning between Nice and United would be his role or the ideal candidate for that. I think there's definitely in the structure with Ashworth's team someone there that link would be with for that. I think there'd be someone relishing that opportunity to work with a top side in League and in the Premier League, which is the plan and the vision, I think someone will be jumping at that and would really relish that role. It is quite a lucrative one, isn't it, really? But yeah, in terms of other news going on right now, not great for Hannibal at Sevilla. As it stands, Sevilla will definitely not be triggering the buy option for Hannibal out of his loan. Not great. Again, it started off bad for him, and it doesn't look like it's getting any better for Hannibal. And United are going to have another player who is not going to be... He's not going to be sold, but has he got a role at United? Going out on loan and having spells like this, and I said, I wasn't happy when he went, but I was happy that we put the buy option in. And no, not so much the buy option, the fact that we had a buy back option if he did take off. He's gone out to another club there, and he's just found it too much. That's it, plain and simple. He's just found it way too much. He's got in over his head, and he's really disappointed. Can he turn it around? I hope he can. Let's just wait and see if he can. But as it is right now, the noises coming from Sevilla is that Hannibal is not what they expected. Not what they expected. Now, of course, we're in for Elise. We know we're in for Elise, but there are other options as well. And my favourite player's name, that Napoli left-hand-sided winger, we'll call him Kavicha, just for short. That's his first name. Kavicha, I'm going to say it. I'm going to get this right. Wait for it. Kavicha, Kavicha Kavashila. That's what I'm saying. I think I've got it right there. Kavicha Kavashila from Napoli. Now, we all know who he is. We just don't like saying his name. So, in terms of being proper Manc, we're just going to call him Kavicha for short, because that there is a name that really was not made for the Mancunian lingo or accent. Let's just say that. I mean, the fact that it's got two A's at the... it's got an A at the end of the first name and the A at the end of the second name, and the way we pronounce things, I think, yeah, definitely wasn't made for us. But Kavicha, we know what he is. We know how good he is. He's not having as good a season as he did last, but obviously all of the unrest at Napoli after winning that title, the dealing with the manager, obviously Osherman, the issue there with the squad. He had 31 goal and assists last season in an amazing season where they looked absolutely ridiculous. He did 6 goals and 5 assists this season. Left-hand-sided winger. Interesting. His contract is going to demand a high fee, which I think is why we won't end up getting him. But this is all reportedly in case we don't get the likes of Elise, which if United really wanted Elise, I think we would get him. I don't think that's going to be a problem. New member in the house. Where actually is it? We have a new member. Oh, there you go. It's our man Gray 100. Welcome to the members club again, Gray. One of our mods there. That was gifted by London at 1965-7. Always on the pulse. Thank you so much. Cheers for donating that, and welcome again, Gray. Good to have you back on board the members side as well as the mods, my man. But yes, that, for me, that type of player, 100% would take. But he's contracted to Napoli until 2027. And yeah, his stats add up. He's a good player, but he's gone off. So he's had that mega season. What can you do in the second season? Second season syndrome is kicking in. He's still got to have decent numbers. Like I said, 6 goals, 5 assists, played 30 games this season. Good to decent. If they want a big fee, then it's a player we should not be going anywhere near. I like him. I liked him last season a lot more. Still think he's an absolute quality player. But Elise comes first, I think, in United's eyes. And I think Elise is definitely a player that United can make happen. As a United fan, if we want him, I think we will get him. I think now I feel even more confident that we'll get a player like that ahead of others. Because we are essentially ahead of everyone else in that. If he's a United fan and we've got the money and we've got the space in the squad, then there's no reason why we don't make it happen. Unless, of course, it's just speculation and we actually don't want him. According to all reports, though, and there's quite a lot saying it right now, that Elise is one of United's top targets this summer. So we are going to be all in for him. So let's just see. Let's watch this space, shall we say. I just said to him, I think might need to go with a short version, and God help him if Graham is listening. Yeah, actually, I think Graham's actually wrong as well in how he's saying it there. I had the full pronunciation up before. Graham is wrong, everybody. Announce it now. Breaking news. Graham is wrong. I know he won't like that. I'm only winding him up. Well, yeah, let's call him Kavicha. I hope he doesn't come because I don't want to have to say his name. Yes. Aditya, I'm sorry you missed me over there, but you can catch me here now as well. I'm just breaking it across all United. I'm bringing the news the best way possible. Real and straight to the point. That's what this channel is all about. Make sure if you are just tuning in, you found me, then you hit that subscribe button. And we are moving on. Closing in on the 40,000. Over 38,000 now in the bag. You can see there we've got our live little ticker now on the sub. So you can see how well we're doing constantly all the time. And yeah, that is pretty much everything I am all about. Graham says it's piss easy to pronounce, Adam. Graham, you're from a different part of the world. You speak Mordor. So you're an Elvish talk, mate. So to you, that's easy. Us normal English people up north here, yeah, we're a different kettle of fish, buddy. So I'm not having it. He knows what I mean by that. I'm not taking the piss out of him. He knows. But let me just see. Over 200 likes as well, guys. Absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Let's get some comments in, everyone. Get talking to me. Where are you at with everything we've talked about? What do you want to talk about more? You know where my sort of take from this video is? I'm all over that director role in between Nice and Manchester United. But players, Hannibal, disappointing, really, Hannibal, isn't it? That for me is a gutter, really, because I like the guy. I really do. I think he's got potential. But sometimes you just feel like they do it on purpose. I'm not saying he has done, but it's like going out on loan, they're a bit miffed off. They don't really do well on purpose just so they can come back to United in the summer. I hope that isn't the case because he plays well for United. And then he goes anywhere else, he really doesn't hit it off. And there's that big question. Why? Why? Just go and prove. I do. It's half the time with that buy option. It does sort of put that fear factor in you as like, well, they're not going to do good just so they can come back to the lucrative side, which is Manchester United. Thank God that Ineos are in now and we're not going to get players like that coming back. And I'm not earmarking or saying that this is Hannibal and his character at all. It just makes you think sometimes, like Donny, like, seriously, start doing something, mate, for God's sake, so we can get rid of you. Greenwood, that's the example right there. I know he's got a lot to prove for other circumstances, but that's the ideal loan spell right there. Palestri, when he's just gone to Barcelona, like, killing it. Like, Alvaro Fernandez went to Granada, then ended up going to Benfica with a buy option. Looking like they are going to trigger that buy option now because he has to play a certain amount of games and he will automatically be triggered. He's already well on track for that with Benfica, featuring quite a bit off the bench mainly, but still figuring in them games. So, yeah, you've got good loan players and you've got bad ones. I think that's what United are doing. They're testing the waters with a lot of these players. And do you know what? I think there will be that cutthroat nature in the summer. If they come back, they're like, well, you're not coming back to the summer camp anymore. You're going to be flogged on. That's it. You're gone straight away. You're not just coming back for the easy ride. You have to go out there and earn it. And I think some players do struggle doing it. They do. But yes, I wonder if it has dawned on the other channel that they have made a mistake with talent management. I'll leave that one in the comment section. Well, yeah, guys, sorry if I didn't get to all of your chats. Quick one there, Stephanie. United need to remove the distractions and build a proper team ethic to be successful on the pitch. Definitely agree with that. That is the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. Make sure you do give the video a like on your way out. Subscribe if you are tuning in for the first time. And obviously, make sure you download the SofaScore app. Bottom right-hand corner there. Scan the QR code. I'll drop in the link in the description. Just click on that. Download it. It's free. And trust me, it's the best. The best sporting app out there. Stats and everything that you need to know about your team, country, and everything else. Fantastic. Thanks for tuning in, guys. It has been an epic show. And don't forget, even more epic tonight, 6:30. Me and Andy live with a pint, talking about the weekend. What better way could you spend your Friday night? That is it. Get there and get your comments and come and talk to us. That's what's important. We're going to try and set it up where we can get more of your questions into me and Andy as well on the show tonight. So make sure you're with us. We'll see you there. And that's it for now. Again, cheers, guys, for tuning in. Until later on, have a good